Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek Smith. For those of you who don't know me, I work in the new business and account management department of Milner Browne, based in Ireland. And thank you for coming along and attending this afternoon's session around SAP's latest business intelligence offering known as SAP Analytics Cloud. Just as a kind of a brief introductory, just 2 or 3 very quick slides to just kind of open up SAP Analytics Cloud, and then without further ado, we're actually going to jump into the product and actually demonstrate, I suppose, how easy it is to actually use. So what is SAP Analytics Cloud? So SAP Analytics Cloud is a business intelligence tool from SAP portfolio, and there is 3 main components to the application itself. It's a business intelligence stroke a data visualization tool. It also combines the predictive analytics piece as well to give you more insight into your data based upon the analytical model that you're actually analyzing. And also contained within it as well is a planning module that allows you to do kind of a more advanced financial planning and forecasting. Now for the demonstration and content that we're covering today, we're going to be covering the data visualization and the predictive analytics piece within the core application. As we get deeper into the application over the next number of kind of weeks and months, we will be doing follow-up webinars around kind of more deep dive areas within SAP Analytics Cloud itself. Okay, so just some key facts. SAP Analytics Cloud can connect to obviously SAP Business One, both HANA and SQL, because obviously our clients are a mixture of both. It can connect to an SAP HANA or SQL system regardless of whether it's an on-premise, i.e. server hosted within your building, or hosted within the cloud. Okay. But also, and most importantly, I think, or one of the most important aspects of it, it's not exclusively for SAP Business One. SAP Analytics Cloud can connect to any database that has an ODBC connection available or can connect via a data source. So very often people that we are talking to, they may have, SAP Business One on the one side, on the ERP side, but they may have other third-party applications or databases that are looking after another element or department within their business, but also they want to actually do data visualization around those pieces. So as long as that database or data source can be connected to, okay, you can plug in SAP Analytics Cloud to do your data visualization and also combine data between different applications as well. You can also upload data very easily from Excel or CSV. So for example, if you had data that you were storing within a spreadsheet or a CSV file, you can very easily drag and drop that into SAP Analytics Cloud and do data visualization on it. Okay, and I'll give you an example of that when we get into the demonstration a little bit later on. Okay. The core solution, it's browser-based, and as it's browser-based, it's obviously 100% cloud-based, so there's no physical installation of the software required. You're always automatically on the latest version, etc. It is also accessible through a mobile app, so for those people that want to access the data visualization or SAP Analytics Cloud whilst they're on the move, that's perfectly fine. One of the most important aspects of it, and I think you see it when we actually go in and do a look at the application itself, is how easy it is to use. It's pretty much a self-service application. The hard work is actually creating the data model in terms of the data that you want to connect to, and the data visualization, once the data model is there or the data source is connected, it's pretty much plug and play. Couple of key things contained within the solution as well, which we'll be looking at. It contains natural querying, language querying. So in other words, I can create analytics by just typing in text. Show me my sales for last year, okay, or compared to this year, or show me my sales by product category, whatever that may be. As long as that data is contained within the model, SAP Analytics Cloud will allow you to do querying based upon that type of natural language. So in other words, it doesn't require business intelligence expertise or programming expertise in order to utilize this tool. It has predictive analytic capabilities using its kind of inbuilt machine learning and kind of smart insights facilities contained within the application, so it can detect patterns in your data to predict future trends, and it's doing that based upon kind of inbuilt algorithms that are actually built into the application itself, and we'll give you a couple of examples of that also. It also is a collaborative tool, so once you do a data visualization, you can actually share that data, you can comment on that data, you can control who sees that data, etc. So there's no back and forth in terms of email or anything like that. You can actually collaborate and share and update on the data visualization suite that you've created within the application itself. And obviously what you can do is you can create suites of reports or data visualizations or stories, as they're called within SAP Analytics Cloud, for different roles or LOB or line of business people within your organizations, and those can be controlled through profiles within SAP Analytics Cloud itself. Okay, so that's enough of PowerPoint for the moment. Okay, I'm going to jump directly into the application itself. Okay, so I'm just have SAP Analytics Cloud open within a browser. So once you log on to SAP Analytics Cloud, your opening page can be obviously customized as well. With your logo, certain text that you want to appear, so that it's all very personalized. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this off by creating a very simple data visualization and showing you some of the tools that are contained within it. So SAP Analytics Cloud is built on this premise of creating stories. A story, all it is a page or a data visualization of the data that you're trying to represent. So I'm just going to click on that option. Once I do that, you're presented with a series of options, and the first one that I'm going to look at here is to access and explore data, and it gives me a number of options here. So I can upload data from a file, I can connect to an existing data source or for any data source that I've actually created within SAP Analytics Cloud, or I can acquire data from an existing data model. So very briefly, what a data model is just a cube of data. So for example, you may create a data cube around the sales information within your SAP Business One system that contains all the different information that you would want to report and pivot on, salespeople, customers, item groupings, dates, periods that they relate to, whatever that information that you want to expose within the data model is. You can create those data models within SAP Analytics Cloud, and then obviously use those data models to create your visualizations. Okay, so I'm just going to click on that option to select a model. Now for the purpose of this morning, I'm just going to use a demo data model here, and it's called Best Run Juice. It's a sales data model, and if I just click on that, basically what it does is it loads that data model, okay, and what it actually does, it then brings me into a kind of a data modeling area, and basically what it has done, it's looked within the data model and all the kind of fields of information that are contained within it, and it knows by looking at that data model what is something called a measure type field, a measure being something that you can value, like a gross margin or a discount, or a quantity sold, okay, and you also have a dimension, and if you think of your dimensions almost like your categorization, so in this case there's date, location, product, sales manager, and store. Okay, so I'm just going to click on all of those and expose all of those dimensions. Okay, and you'll see it exposes them in a view along the top. Okay, so I've just selected quantity units sold on my left-hand side under my measures, and it tells me I've sold 204 million odd units. Okay, so say for example I want that broken out by product. I very simply click on the product header, okay, and what it will do is it will do a very quick visualization of that data for me, and it creates a chart, and it auto suggests the chart type that is most suitable to the data that you've actually selected. So for example, if I had selected a date column, it would do a kind of a line chart as opposed to a bar chart. Now you still have the capability to change it to different chart types, and there's lots of different chart types contained within SAP Analytics Cloud. Okay, but I'm just going to, for the moment in this one, I'm just going to remain with a bar chart. Now within the product categories here, it's broken down, and it's a drinks company between alcohol, you know, carbonated drinks, juices, others. And if I drop down in alcohol, okay, so I want to actually broken down between the different types of alcohol, okay, red wine, mixed drinks, etc. Okay, and what it will do is it will update my data visualization for me, okay, based on the categorizations that you've selected. Okay, so pretty much self-service and pretty much kind of plug and play so far. Obviously, I can do other things within here. For example, I may want to sort that in a particular manner. I may want to restrict it to the top 5 or the bottom 5 items, whatever that may be. And I'm just going to sort this from the lowest to highest, okay, in terms of quantity sold. Okay, so now I've created a very kind of simple bar chart, and effectively what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy that to what is referred to as a responsive page. What that actually does, it takes that data visualization or chart that you've just created, and it basically copies it onto a page, okay, or kind of like a report window where you're going to be building your data visualization suite. So just need to do that again, excuse me. Okay, so you'll see it pulls in that chart. So now you're building your data visualization suite. Obviously I can resize it. I can obviously change, title. So I want to pull in, I want to call this sales of alcohol. If I look at this chart here, I also have a series of other options down along the right hand side. We've looked at our sorting options. You also have the ability, as I said, to actually start commenting and collaborating on this. So if I want to put in a comment there and say, why is red wine so low? Okay, I can place that comment within that. I can like that comment. Other people can collaborate and respond to that within the application itself. Okay, when I start building my data visualization as well, obviously there is a kind of a designer behind this as well. So for example, if you want to have the chart in different colors, different fonts, all completely built within the application itself. So say for example, I want my font color there to be in black. Okay, and it will just update my data, and you'll see change the font color to black. I can have my background color, I can have my chart color in different colors, all part of the application. If I decide at this stage, that I want to change it to a different chart type, etc. If I want to put in exceptions around that, that's all fine. Or if I want, my chart coloring, if it's below, quantity of 10, appear in one color, over 20, a different color, all that kind of stuff is just built into the kind of designer tools within the application itself. Okay. Now, here it's telling me, obviously, my sales effectively or units sold by, in the thousands in this particular case, by my particular, alcohol types, okay? However, I may want to know, more about that data, and this is part of the kind of the smart insights or kind of predictive analytical capability of the application. So for example there, if I just click on this kind of little menu bar here, I have the ability to add what is called a smart insight. So a smart insight is effectively telling you more about that data that you've just visualized. Okay, so you'll see down at the bottom here, it's loading some insights, and it's telling me the quantity sold for dark beer is the top contributor, 349% above average. The quantity sold variation was driven significantly by the location, Los Angeles. Okay, so if I just click on that now, it'll obviously tell me and show me more. Okay, so it'll tell me Los Angeles is the top location contributor, and it tells me what the contributors are from the different locations that are contained within the data model. I see David Carl is the top sales manager, okay, compared to the other sales managers. And I can very simply, if I want to, just add that to the chart, okay, or not, as the case may be, because I can still drill down using that further insights. You know, so there I've created a very simple chart just using the data model that I've created, okay? But there's even an easier way to do it, okay? Or a couple of easier ways to even do it. If I just use this little kind of search or search insights button within SAP Analytics Cloud, this is where the solution allows you to query the data within your model based upon natural language. Okay, so I can say, you know, quantity sold by sales person. Okay, now if I just click on that, it will query my data. Okay, and if I just change that, say to sales manager. Okay, and if I just click on that, okay, you'll see it automatically builds that chart. Say, for example, I am only interested, now just bear in mind, guys, that the data source that I'm looking at is kind of older, and it only has data, I think, up to 2016. So if I say for, I don't know, 2014, okay, and if I click on refresh, okay, it updates my chart automatically for me just based upon me putting in that kind of natural language or text within the application. Okay, and then once I've created that visualization, I may decide I actually want to add that visualization to my existing story. Okay, so once you start building your story, okay, and you can obviously save this and give it a name, and then you can share that story with different individuals within the organization, so you can give it a unique name, etc. I'll just call it document number 8. Okay, and once you've actually saved your model, you can then decide who you want to share that with. So you can create your users within SAP Analytics Cloud. You can assign users to particular teams or roles, whatever you want to call them, and then decide who you want to share these data visualizations with that you've just created. Okay, and if I just click on share, they will basically get an email and a link to open that story within their inbox, so it will send them a URL. Okay. Okay. So we've looked at very quickly, you know, how you create a very basic data visualization. Okay. And that was based upon having an existing data model in place. Okay. I mentioned a little bit earlier on that you can actually load data into SAP Analytics Cloud via, you know, Excel or CSV. And if I just kind of minimize some of the data here in the background, okay. So I have created a very simple sheet called sales analysis, and if I just open that up, if I don't already have it open, and in that is just basic information that I've just created. So I have an item group, I have a sales employee, I have regions, I have quantity sold, sales amount, gross profit percentage, etc. Okay, so just very simple data, and I can basically just drag and drop that into SAP Analytics Cloud. Okay, and what it will do is it will load that data. Okay, and you might have noticed there I dragged and dropped it into a tile within SAP Analytics Cloud called I'm feeling lucky, a little bit corny, but basically what that means, it's using again part of the kind of smart piece of SAP Analytics Cloud. So what it's going to do is look at your data, interpret that data, judge the quality of that data, and also isolate what it thinks are the measures within that data and what it sees as dimensions. and once it's done that, it just brings you into your kind of data model kind of loader that we looked at a little bit earlier on. Okay, so just while that is coming in, so you'll see it's just pulling it in here now. Okay, so it'll see it's identified the measures as quantity, sales amount, and obviously the dimensions as item group, region, and sales employee. And now from this point forward, it's exactly the same as it was before when I was querying using my data model. Okay, so within SAP Analytics Cloud as well, and if I just go back here to the story that I was creating originally. So while you can see it's pretty much self-service and it's pretty kind of, you know, a plug and play in terms of how you can create it, if you are charged with building a complete data visualization suite, you know, you can spend, you know, a few hours or a half a day or a day creating what you think is important. But part of the application as well is a facility called Smart Discovery. So what a Smart Discovery is, it basically allows you to run a Smart Discovery on either, you know, a measure or a dimension that's contained within the model that you're querying, and then build a whole analytical and statistical support reporting suite around it without you having to do any work whatsoever. So just to give you an example here, and if I just click on this option here called Run Smart Discovery, okay, and it loads in your model, and it then asks you, well, what do you want to run the Smart Discovery on? Okay, so say for example I want to run it on quantity of units sold, okay, and if I just click on Run here, what it does, it starts the process of querying that data model, okay, and what it will do literally in about, I'd say roughly about a minute, is create an entire kind of data visualization suite around the data, visualizing the data based upon, you know, the data that's contained within it, but also giving you further insight into it, and also doing some predictive capabilities in terms of where it sees trends and patterns, and, you know, what it's predicting in terms of sales into the future, etc. So that's currently loading, okay. Hopefully it won't be too long more, okay. Whilst that is just loading, just to kind of give you an idea of where you can get to, okay, so this is the part of the demonstration to, you know, where I said this is one I created earlier, okay. So again, it's kind of it's a sales manager stroke sales operational type dashboard that has been created here, querying the same data model that I looked at a little bit earlier on, okay. But you'll see there's 3 tab cards on it: summary, analysis, and sales manager overview. So what's it telling me here? It's telling me my overall average, you know, gross margin is 30.35%. This is my value in terms of net revenue and gross margin, broken out between California, Nevada, and Oregon. You know, what is the gross margin for each product type? My average gross margin. This one is a little bit more interactive. I've built in dynamic filters into it. Okay, so for example, if I want to bring that data back and I want to look back as far as, you know, 2014, as soon as I change the date filter on it, it dynamically updates that data. Or say, for example, I'm only interested in, you know, alcohol. Okay, or if I was only particularly interested in certain alcoholic types, I can then select or deselect, okay, and also I can select by location here in this particular case. So I only wanted for, you know, California and Nevada. So what it's doing dynamically is just updating my data visualization, my story, based upon the dynamic filters that I've selected, okay. So here, you know, various kind of widgets and kind of analytical views of my data. If I go into analysis here, this is, you know, telling me a little bit more, okay. So you'll see there, it's telling me on this page we explore 2 possible factors contributing to Nevada's revenue: discount percentage and marketing events per state, okay. So it's giving me a heat map there of, kind of revenue per area. It's told me the net revenue compared to the number of events. What is the correlation of, discount versus net revenue? What are the type of marketings per state, and how is that contributing to my net revenue? Okay. And here is a sales manager overview, okay, in terms of my sales team, my top 5 sales managers, my bottom 5. And again, I have dynamic filters built into that where I may want to search by particular locations or particular categories or groupings of products, etc. Okay, so that is, one I prepared earlier. SAP Analytics Cloud, basically what you can do is you can actually purchase kind of sample kind of analytical kind of suites or models, but obviously in terms of kind of layouts, looks and feels, by kind of different vertical markets as well also. But because obviously we're dealing within the SME space and specifically SAP Business One, what we're going to be doing in conjunction with our customers over the next while is actually building out good kind of data models, which obviously then we can actually supply back to you guys, and you can obviously amend those data models, but then use those data models to create your data visualizations. So if I just come back here, okay, so you'll see there, this is the smart discovery that I had just run based upon, quantity of units sold. And what it's done, it's created 4 tab cards: overview of quantity sold, key influencers, unexpected values, and something called simulation. So if you do an overview of quantity sold, it'll tell me the total number of units sold was 204 odd million. This is the distribution of quantity sold to see the record frequency per value. This is how it's trending over time, and it will predict into the future where it thinks it's going to be going based upon previous sales activity. These are the sales by sales manager. These are the sales by sales manager location. Identify the association between gross manager and quantity sold by store. What does it see as the key influencers of the sale? So again, part of the predictive piece. So in this particular case, it's saying that discount is the biggest influencer of your sales, which is obviously not a good thing. Then price, then product. And then as I scroll down, it's telling me more about that data, but it sequences it in how, and how it sees the influencer. So discount first, price second, product third, etc., etc., and telling you more about your data. Unexpected values, okay? So it tells you what it was expecting in terms of, units to be sold and the actual units sold, okay? I can highlight a particular row and it'll do a data visualization for me, or I can highlight all rows. So quantity sold and the difference, quantity sold percentage difference, the discount in US dollars, etc. I can also do simulations on this. So say, for example, I wanted to see if I increased my margin by, 5%, what would be the overall impact in terms of the quantity of units sold? I can do that. It's all built into the actual application itself. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a very quick overview around SAP Analytics Cloud. There is a lot more to it. We will be doing further webinars on this over the next while as we get deeper into the solution. If you require any further information around this, I would suggest that you contact your nominated account manager, where they can provide kind of some more detail behind it and also talk around the kind of commercials and pricing in relation to it. Just on the model, because it's a cloud-based solution, the pricing is SaaS-based per user with a minimum 12-month subscription on it. Look forward to hearing from you for those customers that I deal with directly, and thank you very much for your time, and keep tuned for further webinars. Good afternoon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.